All right, this is 8.1 part 2, where we were talking about frequency distributions. So when I'm face-to-face, we pick 5 movies, and then each person in the class chooses their favorite movie out of those 5. So I'm just going to make up something. So the first movie is going to be Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. Okay, the second one is going to be Star Wars. The third one is going to be The Avengers. Endgame, parts 1 and 2. We'll just keep them together. The fourth one is going to be Grand Budapest Hotel. And then the final one is going to be Citizen Kane. Okay, so tally marks, I'm just going to make these up. So I'm just, randomly writing stuff down. Okay, so tally marks are how many people, like when I went around the room and asked them, hey, what movie do you like? I would put a tally mark. So Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom have 5, 6, 7, 8. So its frequency is 8 people. Star Wars has 10. Avengers has 12. Grand Budapest has 4. And finally, Citizen Kane has 6. So the total frequency can be found by adding up all those values. So 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 4 plus 6. Okay, 8 and 12 will give me 20, plus 10, and 4 and 6 is 10. So when I add that up, I get 20 plus 10, which is 40. So 40 is the total frequency. Okay. Why would a frequency table not be useful for the data below? A study looked at the ages of lottery winners given below. 24, 29, 33, 36, 38, 41, 45, 46, 47, 49, so on and so forth. If you look through this, a lot of these have only like one person in their age group. The 54 has 2 and 55 has 2, but a frequency data, if you only have 2 people per frequency, it doesn't really make sense to do a frequency table. Usually you want more than just a couple. And you definitely don't want just one per data value. So anyways, that's why a frequency table wouldn't be useful for that data. All right, let's look at the next one, grouped frequency data. To use group frequency data when we have a large number of widely varying data values. Group data values are into what's called class intervals. Okay, so class intervals. Such that each class width is equal and each data value must fit into one and only one class, no overlapping, and there are preferably between 5 and 12 classes. Okay, so each class has an upper and lower limit, and that's called the class width. So the class width can be found by taking the upper limit minus the lower limit. That's what that's supposed to say. The lower limit. Okay. All right, so construct a frequency distribution table. Okay, guys, so here's the data points. And remember, this is going to be group-wise, and then we're going to have the frequency. All right, so I used to run races, and they have people in what's called age groups. So the first age group would be something like this, 10 to 19, and then 20 to 29, and then 30 to 39, and then 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and then 70 to 79. Okay, so this is called the class width or class intervals. So the first class interval, for instance, is 10 through 19. Okay, so this means people's ages. Notice there's no overlap to the next one. So I go 10 through 19, and then I go to 20. Okay, all right, so the frequency, I'm just making up stuff. 5, 25, maybe 40, 60, 25, 15, and 10. So let's say this is a race, that have these individuals in here. So what is the first class? So the first class is the smallest one you see, which is 10 to 19. What is the lower limit of the first class? The lower limit is a smaller value, so it is 10. What is the upper limit of the first class? So that's the upper one, which is 19. What is the class width? Okay, you can find the class width by taking 19 minus 10, but you got to be careful because when you do 19 minus 10, you're going to get 9. But you need to add 1 to that because check this out. Somebody can be 10, and count on your hands with me. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So that's actually 10 different age groups, right? 10 ages from 10 to 19 is 10. So when you do this, subtract, add 1. So I'm going to put a little note. Subtract, and then add 1. And that will give you the class width. Okay, so in this case, 9 plus 1 is 10. So there are 10 data values from 10 to 19. Now, by the way, all your class widths for every single class have to be the same. So from 20 to 29 is 10 data values. From 30 to 39 is 10 data values. So they have to be the same width. All right, so let's look at this next one. A board of directors at a small town golf club wants to conduct a survey to determine if the golf club members are interested in remodeling the clubhouse. There are 4,500 people living in the town. There are 600 members in the golf club, and there are 12 people on the board of directors. The survey is given to all 150 golfers who come to the club on a certain day. What is the population of the study interested in finding information? Okay, the population is the actual members of the golf club. So I'm going to go with D here, all 600 members, because those are ones that are being affected. They're looking at golf club members, right? It says they're determined if golf club members are interested. So it's all 600 members. The sample used in the study. So the sample size is part of that population, right? So if we look at that, we see that we gave a survey to 150 golfers. So that is the actual sample size. Okay, use the graph to the right. What is the class width? Okay, so I'm looking at this. This first one is going from 1 to 4. So I told you guys to take 4 minus 1, the upper, minus lower, and then you add 1 to that. So 4 minus 1 is 3, plus 1 equals 4. Okay? What is the sample size? All right, to find the sample size, you have to add up all the frequencies. So I'm going to add 8, that's the first one. Then I have 6, and then I have 4, and then I have 10, and then I have 5. And I got those values by looking at the height of each of the bars in the histogram. This is called a histogram. A histogram is a special bar graph where the bars touch. Okay? All right. Okay, so I need to add these together. I didn't finish the problem. So 8 plus 6 is 14. 4 and 10 is 14. And then I'm going to add 5 to that. So 14 and 14 is 28. 28 plus 5 is 33. So the sample size is equal to the total frequency. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. So this is going to be, I'm going to pick up with the next video of 8.1 part 3. Okay, thanks for watching part 2.